Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to another One Piece manga chapter read along. Today it's chapter 1185. As usual, I'm reading on the Shonen Jump app, and I won't be showing the pictures on the screen or anything, so you need your own copy. And yeah, I'm going to start by first giving a shout out. Hunter, Rohit, Tiago, Modru, Bucci is here. Dark Shadow, Killer Bee Psycho just joined us for the first time. Twitch is saying it's a first time chat, so welcome. And I'm not sure who I didn't give a shout out to, but welcome everyone. Earlier I reacted to episode 1166 of One Piece, and that is the chapter or the episode where so Gunko and a mysterious figure who looks a lot like Shanks is asking Loki to join the Holy Knights, and then he says no, and they try and threaten him or threaten his dog, and he's not having it because once you show people like that, this is how you can control me. It's over, So it was a sad scene, but I think they really did it justice in the anime because they made him so intense, and they like the rage, really you could feel it in his voice. Yeah, don't spoil yourself. See you next time. Um so yeah, I really liked the anime adaptation, and I looked back at my chapter reaction, which was obviously my first reaction to the story, and I'm really proud to see to myself, like, even back then I was theorizing about, Loki. I think I said he can't be a bad person because he loves his dog. Ah. Rohit says the episode humor was very good too. Especially I love seeing Zoro and Luffy together, and they're doing really good with expressions. I feel like there's more detail in Nami's faces, especially. Um, but also Gerzo. Like, I think a lot of the characters they're just adding a bit more to their expressions. I don't know. I feel that way. Okay. So, yeah, it was good to watch the episode. It was nice to look back at my reaction. But I am not ready, but here we go. First, to recap the end where we left off last time, it was at the Speria Palace, and the Brook, the prince, or whoever, he's the prince at the time, I think, he saved Brook. And now Brook is at the castle, Kid Brook. And this is a flashback within a flashback, right? Uh, Candel says, I'm not angry at you, Prince Reuven. I'm simply asking that you be more mindful of your royal position. Yeah. Brook. Are you okay? No, wait. Oh, hey, Brook. You're a prince, Aniki? I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I wasn't trying to hide it. I just had too much fun hanging around you to ruin the good times. Don't don't you dare tell anyone about stealing that curry powder. Every time Prince Reuven went missing, we went into a panic trying to find him. I would have never guessed he was passing the time with such an adorable little friend. So anyway, then he's saying, this guy's my favorite musician. Give him a room in the barracks and some real instruments to play, and make it so he can attend school. We've got a new star in Esperia. I love this guy. If we keep him around, life in the palace is going to be more fun. So he's trying to help. His heart is in the right place, but I don't think he can fully understand how uh, this is. Brook is not ready for this. Brook is not. He hasn't made peace with leaving his home, even if it was, I don't know, a dump or where he lived, it yeah, like an ash heap. So that's where we left off. Brooke is clearly, visibly shook up, not maybe ready for this. At least that was my interpretation of the ending. Here we have on chapter 1185, the cover picture is a boa. So where is Sotos the day that boa's on the cover? Oh right, Sotos doesn't read the manga. Sotos, the person who guilted me into reading the manga and then stopped reading the manga. I'm joking. So this episode is titled Mindja Beeswax. So she's obviously cooking up a bunch of meat for Luffy to enjoy, her love, her crush. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. I can't wait for Luffy to eat this. Hancock practices her cooking by Masako. That was the reader request. Okay, so the very first page. Candell, I want you to take Brooke as your squire and teach him proper manners and speaking etiquette. Of course, Prince Reuben. Boy, there sure are a whole lot of pretty ladies around the palace. Pretty lady, skip that one. Pretty lady. Stop that. But you're the prettiest of them all. Lady Candell. Oh, he just called her Candell. Brooke is wild. Well, he grew up in the wild. What do you expect him to have? What kind of manners do you expect him to have? Lady Candell, you are my squire. Show me your panties? Ah, Brooke! I'm trying to imagine, like, what the boys do in school. Boys flip up girls' skirts all the time and they think it's hilarious and, like, ooh. And then later they're all like, cooties, cooties. And, like, kids be kidsing. You don't like your uniform? If I conform to school culture, I will lose my touch for writing good music. But the convoy uniform, now that's what I want to wear someday. And then he's shown to literally fall asleep with his guitar, and she, with a smile on her face that looks very sincere, very kind, she tucks him in. But she might just be playing her role really, really well. I mean, Reuben could be around the corner at any moment. She has to wear, you know. You're a lucky kid, you know that? You get to be Lady Candell's squire. Yoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Are you in love with any particular man, Candell? Lady. And yes, but he is far out of my league. So I trained very hard with the sword so that I might be as close to him as possible. I bet he'd like you if you dressed more ladylike. That's not necessary. I'm happily simply being by his side. His side? Are you talking about me? No! Lady Candell, do you wear men's underwear too? No. What? Then show me! Brooke! You still haven't learned any etiquette. When asking a favor of others, you have to speak politely. So that's how he went from show me your underwear to might I perchance see thine undergarments? Then would you mind showing me your panties, please? Of course I mind. Forget speaking politely. I need to beat some manners and civility into you. Good grief. Strength and etiquette are equally important. Really? Then I'll do better. I'll try harder. Lady Candell is the light of our admiration. Oh, he's singing. Lady Candell is the light of our admiration. The sun that shines upon our country, which reminds me, one time, a ship from the world government washed up on Hesperia, and the kingdom was stunned to encounter a type of authority we've never experienced before. The celestial dragons? Interesting. Interesting how it goes from candle, the sun that shines on our country, which reminds me, literally, that's the transition. A ship from the world government washed up on Hesperia, and the kingdom was stunned to encounter a type of authority we'd never experienced before. That's right, the celestial dragons. They certainly threw their weight around. Damn, he's got some long legs. Lady Candale was bedridden for several months after that due to fatigue. She was bedridden, and you wouldn't believe how gloomy the people were during those months. I shouldn't laugh, but it was truly as if the sun itself had set. However, that was only the precursor to wonderful news, Princess Shuri. Your father, the beloved uncouth prince, ascended the throne, and at the same time he married your mother, Lady Candale. So the celestial dragon showed up, and the sun set. And the next thing that happened is the uncouth prince became king. The stage of Hesperia was engulfed in the cheers of the audience, and then you were born, Princess Shuri. The kingdom was all in a tizzy. Show us her face. Oh, she's so cute. Thank God she takes after her mother. I got a bit off track there. My point is, I love your parents dearly. I owe them everything. I would give my life for them. I call this one sacrificial rock. Papa, mama, papa, mama. Well, Brooke, what would you do if it was me in danger? Oh, she's like being annoyed, like, but there's musical notes, so she might be saying it in a sing-song voice. Papa, mama, papa, mama. Well, Brooke, what would you do if it were me in danger? The same thing, of course. I would give up my life. Indeed. Because I'm Papa and Mama's daughter? Because it's you. Why did you pause? Be honest with me. She pouts and then she's like, Candy. But first she was like, I can't wait to see this part because I love a princess with blue hair. I also love a princess with pink hair. We have quite a few of those so far. We have 2 pink hair princesses and 2 blue hair princesses now. Well, how many other princesses do we have in the story by now? Okay, and then it looks like they're practicing their swordsmanship. Papa! Father, don't be a child. I love you too, Father. When you want to be independent from your parents, why not sing the song for a change? Why not sing this song for a change, princess? Mind your own beeswax. What's that supposed to mean? Mm. He helps her when she gets a scratch. He holds the umbrella for her when she's petting a puppy in the rain. He's measuring her height. He's doing all the things that a dad would be doing. It's a phrase from Kamigata, a land to the west. And then she's chasing him with a skull and he's terrified. Mind your own beeswax. I ain't some puppy dog lured by the candy store. I ain't a kid at all anymore. So when he's sick, she doesn't want the nurse to take care of him. She wants to cook. She cooks soup for him. The year that Shuri turned 15. What the? It sounds awful. Esperia lost its music. The kingdom was shrouded in a deep and terrible mist that lasted for half the year. The country's heritage, its treasured instruments all rotted, and the mist curdled into smog that swallowed the whole island. Let's lift their hearts with yeah. From that point on, the streets were filled not with music, but the sounds of coughing. The poisonous smog racked their lungs, the lungs of tens of thousands, and took several hundred lives. The mist will clear. I know it will. In the face of many baffling and horrific events, the kingdom grew weary and numb. So she died? So she's not evil? And even after the mist lifted, the scars it left were felt deeply by all. Your Majesty, we can no longer afford to make the heavenly tribute payments to the world government. So did he have to sell his daughter? Smog. Poisonous smog. Mm. So let me get this straight. The ship came ashore. Candle wasn't on the ship, but after she was already where she was, and she was bedridden for months. And then he became king, he married her, Shuri was born. So they were forced to start paying the heavenly tributes out of nowhere. But then there was a smog that for 6 months at least. So now on the next page, after it says they can't make the heavenly tribute payment anymore, we see Brooke and Gunko battling. Sometimes it's as if you can see into the future, princess. Oh. I want to be like mother. You certainly have the potential, but I don't think your father will allow a princess to fight on the front lines of battle. Father seems to have something weighing on his mind these days. I can imagine what it's about, but there's nothing we can do. My only option is to serve the king faithfully. Not every nation affiliated pays heavenly tributes. Really? For example, which ones don't need to pay and why? What would be the point of only making like less fortunate countries pay until they can't pay anymore? I guess maybe the ones that they want to be on good terms with. Like, oh, you have a no, every nation affiliated pays heavenly tribute. Oh. But I know that. What was that in response to? Because I just know that they didn't know, or they didn't seem to know about the celestial dragons until they got there, and then they started paying because now they're affiliated. But I'm not sure what that was in response to then. Sorry, before I keep reading and then respond to you again, I think it's better to wait. And they were affiliated before because they were marine. They were marines. But what does it they? But what does it mean then when they said like having, how to say this? having a marine, it makes sense for a country to have marines, but maybe there's also like international marines, I guess. It doesn't sound to me like how do I say this? Like there are United Nations and some of them pay, but that doesn't mean the countries can't use their port or can't have people stationed there at all, or how. Then what are they saying here? The sun that shines upon our country, which reminds me, one time a ship from the world government washed up, and the kingdom was stunned to encounter a type of authority, which was the celestial dragons. I don't mean that you're wrong or anything. I'm just trying to understand what they meant, like, and what you were responding to. Oh, you thought, okay, so I thought they only got affiliated after at this point because they never even knew about celestial dragons before. And you were applying saying they've always been affiliated and every nation pays a heavenly tribute. I still don't understand that addition because I knew everyone pays, but I just didn't know that they were affiliated before. Because I don't understand what this means. They were stunned to encounter a type of authority we've never experienced before. Why would you pay tribute if you don't even know what celestial dragons are? What would you be paying tribute for? Or do you mean like they were part of some united thing, but they never actually met anyone? It's a bit different for marine protection. I'm not sure if we have a clear timeline of what came first yet, Marines or the celestial dragon ship. Well, the Marines were on the island when Brooke was a kid, right? So they were paying for marine protection, and they just hadn't met actual celestial dragons yet, under which the Marines fall. That makes sense. So then, an actual celestial a ship from the world government. So it's because it's celestial dragons, world government, then marine. So they were paying a tribute to them, but for them, if that makes sense. And then they washed up ashore on a ship, a world government ship with celestial dragons on. That's right. They certainly threw their weight around. And then Candale was bedridden for several months. What the hell caused that? What could cause? I mean, people were gloomy during those 3 months. It was truly as if the sun itself had set. Okay. So then let's go back to where we were. We see him and the Brooke and her basically being like, I don't know, family, older brother, father figure. But her father wasn't absent, so it's more like an older brother figure than a father figure. And a typical girl, like, fall in love with a guy who's there. I mean, even it's kind of like when, let's say, your parents divorce and your mom gets a new husband. Like, lots of kids they would react jealously. So sometimes when it's not family, that kind of familial jealousy, oh, it's my brother, it's my mother, it's my this. They can get mixed up. And she's, yeah, kind of was in love with him. But it's not like there was anything inappropriate from his side. I told you guys, every kid in my class in 7th grade had a crush on a young student teacher who was much older than us, but We didn't care. We didn't think about stuff like that. And it's not like he did anything inappropriate. So, anyway, then there was the smog. Kendall died. We didn't see how, but we're told. We can even see here where she says the mist will clear. Like her face doesn't look well. Like, there's like smog all over her face. So we're shown, we don't see her decline, but she's just the picture of her funeral at her funeral. And then Gunko saying, Father seems to have something weighing on his mind these days. I can imagine what it's about, but there's nothing we can do. My only option is to serve the king faithfully. I thought you wanted to be a pirate, Brooke. My onus comes first. Dreams are a secondary matter. Okay. Well, when you leave, I'll go with you. You can't. I will. There's going to be a war against the world government. Understood, Your Majesty. Whoa, the shift in tone, like from that, and then there's gonna be a war. And Brooke doesn't bat an eye. He's like, I understand. Wait, Captain, at least tell us why, Your Majesty. Brooke, they demanded 1,000 slaves from us. That's the only way to get out of the heavenly tribute this year. Being a slave in the Holy Land might as well be death. Oh no. The government will be coming here in 2 months, but I'm not going to choose sacrifices to be handed over to them. Is our country doomed, Captain? Unaffiliated countries turn into a lawless wasteland, don't they? Is it true that they'll pillage everything we have? I heard another country in the West Blue got wiped off the map. What country is that? Or is it referring to something that we know about already? This was long ago. So I'm trying to figure out, like, did they do this? But why? Do they want something? Like, do they? Because it's like everything was normal. And if they were paying the heavenly tribute all this time for marine protection, someone freaking came, and a smog came, and they lost everything. And now, if it's like they wanted to devastate this country. There's a theory. What? Tell me the theory when we finish. It's just like this is all going according to someone's plan. It just seems there's too many weird things, I heard another country in the West Blue got wiped off the map. Well, I heard a little story once about a sea brimming with violence, where the boss don't want to go. The boss don't want to go full of samurai warriors and towering giants. So watch out for all of them. Give them a little bite, and they'll be weak in the knees, like they're running from a swarm of bees. Better think twice, 'cause we got nothing to lose. And he entertained everyone, and he made them smile and forget about their troubles for a little while. They've landed at North Harbor. Get over there, 12th Platoon. Mind your own beeswax. They didn't say it would be this many. Don't let them disembark. Mind your own beeswax. We're only in the corner of the map, but our name won't be erased just like that. This is one place you can't steal from. Commander, the enemy has reached the palace. Block off the stairs. I'll go in. But why can't I fight? Don't be stupid. If they take you hostage, then our arms are tied. Please be safe, Princess Shuri. It's the guard. Oh, Princess, the garden we strolled through all those times is now burning. Your Majesty, the dump where we hung out is ablaze. Mind your own beeswax. Mind your own beeswax. The corners of the map are shining. Feel your courage slip away once you taste my vicious blade. Your Majesty, Princess Shuri. I haven't turned a page, but I remembered something that, Brooke said to Gunko in the current present, where we are in Elba. So now I'm scared to turn the page. He was rushing toward where they were. Your Majesty, Princess Shuri, and they were fighting, like, let me fight. And he was like, no, no. And Brooke rushed towards them. And Gunko has black wings. And the king has horns. And Brooke. Oh my gosh, who's that guy again? The one smoking? Oh, didn't he used to be like a Marine guy that got thrown in jail? What was his name? The war is going to be over, Brooke. Aren't you happy? You are thinking of Shiryu. Is that not Shiryu? Is that someone else? He does look like someone else here. He looks like a monkey guy. But sorry, I was wondering because of this. Here, it looked to me like Shiryu. That doesn't look like a monkey guy anymore. So it's quite intriguing to see, in the Elbaf arc where we learned all about Loki and him being the father killer. Now in the same arc we have Gunko, who also killed her father. Shiryu wouldn't have been born. I keep forgetting how long ago this was. Like what? 300. I was gonna say like 100, 200 years ago. 300 years. The kingdom. Okay, this is definitely Shiryu's great grandfather. The kingdom that people think that was wiped out before was Germa, which took place around 300 years ago. Sanji's people? But it happened 300 years ago? But Sanji. I literally thought it would have happened in Sanji's father's, like, that was North Blue. Esperia's in the West Blue. I don't know. I didn't know Germa was 300 years ago. I literally thought it was like Sanji's father's lifetime, or, his just before. I didn't think it was that long ago. 300 years, but I guess that makes sense because they had to rebuild themselves. And because they did rebuild themselves to some extent to try and make these warriors and do all this, what do you call it? I mean, they had all these soldiers and stuff, so they must have had 300 years or something to rebuild themselves and to try and make themselves into a country that would never happen to again. Maybe that I could see, depending on where, North Blue, West Blue, whatever. I can see that. Yeah, I don't think this necessarily. So earlier I was wondering if I have to read this today or should I do 2 chapters next week. I actually think this would have worked really nicely as 2 chapters. But I guess there's always then I would run the risk of seeing the end. But I mean that would be the case every single week. So let me take a look at the manga chat. I just realized there's no chapter next week. Again? Well, then it's fine if I do it today. Next week we have another question of the week, but I still have to. So I have about 20 minutes to discuss this chapter. Let's go. First, let's roll, actually. Nope, I don't have rolls. Okay, here we go. One Piece manga. It starts here with Tiago's thoughts. It looks like Emu turned both the king and Shuri into demons and made them fight each other. Through Mars as the intermedium, if that's the demonic Ho-Oh I'm thinking of. What is demonic Ho-Oh? Oh, you mean, oh, Mars. Mars? Why this? Oh, there was literally like a. Oh, you know what? My focus was completely on. Like, I only vaguely saw. Good night, Modru. See you next time. Thank you. All my focus was on. Like, these 3 figures. And I didn't really look at. Because, you see, he kind of doesn't hit the focus. Because either his head gets cut off or his body gets cut off. That doesn't look okay. Maybe it's like more like a silhouette of him, but yeah, that could be him. Oh my goodness, look at those teeth. That could totally be him. 10%. Okay, so that's what Tiago says. I take it Brooke still hasn't processed the fact that his king was Domi Reversit / turned demon, so either one of them would have killed the other anyways. Rohit says, the only complaint I have with the chapter is Brooke assuming Shuri is the one killing her father. Any reasonable person would see the situation and figure out that she was being manipulated. And the real problems are the 2 figures behind her. But we're making assumption based on like I'm not sure that he just saw this and instantly like blamed her and raged. I think there's more to it. He probably tried to talk her out of it or like tried to find out what was going on and just couldn't. And it's kind of like I don't know, maybe maybe back then he didn't really understand that demonic possession was possible, but sure, in the present it would have been interesting to see if he put 2 and 2 together or but then again, it's not like I mean it's been 300 wait. How long has it been? Has it really been more than like 150 years? But either way, it's been a lifetime. It's been at least a lifetime. So it's like a memory that's been implanted, and it's like it's not easy to change someone's memory or alter them. If he saw that and he tried to find out or what the hell's going on, and it sounded like she did this for whatever reason. Remember, I don't know. I still don't know if I'm just like gonna accept. Oh yeah, Candel's dead. she won't be back again, nothing, or I don't know. What do you mean 50 years at least? It's 300 years or it's 50 years. Or it's like, those are too far apart. It can't, it's, we know by now Brooke is like over 100 years old. That's the lost theory that I heard. So how now suddenly it's 300 years and now it's 50 years at least? 300 years was the Germa thing. But they would not have fuck know. Oh yeah, it happened to another place 200 years ago. What happened? What if, can you just pull off your hat what happened 200 years ago? Like, I don't know. There's too much going on and too many gaps. You can't keep track anymore. This is just me venting a minute. Don't take it seriously. Like, it's like every time, instead of questions being answered, there's more questions. Yeah, then I also don't think it can't. Where did he say? Wait, let me just find that part where they said. I heard another country in the West Blue got wiped off the map. So you were saying. Wait. You were saying that was North Blue, Esperia's in the West Blue. And they also said here, I heard another country in the West Blue. So yeah, it couldn't have been Germa. Where? It sounds like this is something that happened not too long ago. So I also don't think it's the Germa theory. It's too confusing if it's the Germa theory. It's too confusing for my brain. Hi, Shoru. But anyway, I don't think that we should judge Brooke like right now based just off of this thing. I don't think this is all he saw that convinced him, oh well, yeah, this happened and that happened. I think next chapter we'll find out there's more to it, you know? I mean, more to why he thinks a certain way about Gunko. His first reaction is surprise and horror. That's understandable. And then the chapter ends. We'll have to see how it develops. That's pretty much how I feel. I'll make my judgment on that when I see how Oda wants the next chapter to play out. But I need to see how far Brooke's state of panic versus how the situation plays out will lead him into his current assumptions. For now, I'm more curious about the poisonous smog. I would assume the government or CP09, but could just as easily be a pirate or the prince of a country that Shuri rejected. I think there's zero basis to think it's something random like that. There's too many little hints. Celestial dragon ship arrives for the first time. They didn't even like know what celestial dragons really were. They were faced with it for the first time. Kandal is down for months. People are sad. It's like the sun set. Then suddenly he's king. Suddenly she's queen. Smog. 6 months. She dies. Everyone's traumatized and suffering. Can't pay those things are too linked for it to just be, oh well, she rejected a prince off screen and I get what you mean, like it could be anything, but I don't know, that doesn't feel like it would be good writing. Never know what Oda could do. I can't know until I see it, but it just doesn't feel like these things are unrelated to each other. The smog definitely has something to do with the world government. I mean, just give me a second here. Can you give me a summary of Law's backstory from One Piece. Before he knew Roshinante. Law was born in a country of Flevons, a wealthy nation famous for producing a valuable substance called amber lead. So that's what they produced. That was their key export, or I don't know really if they exported it, but they were famous for it the way that, I don't know, Japan is famous for sushi. I don't know. Clearly not the same thing, but for generations, people of Flevons mined amber lead and became extremely prosperous. However, there was a terrible secret. Amber lead was actually poisonous. The poison accumulated slowly in their bodies over many years. Because they were mining it, they were working with it every single day. And the world government and neighboring countries were aware of the danger, but allowed the mining to continue because it was profitable. Eventually, the effects began appearing through the population. People developed a deadly disease known as amber lead syndrome. When neighboring countries learned about the illness, they believed it was contagious, whether through ignorance, fear, or political convenience. So they were quarantined, the country's borders were sealed up, and other nations treated its citizens as if they were a plague. So, but the main point that I want to read here is the world government and neighboring countries were aware of the danger but allowed the mining to continue. Keyword, because it was profitable. So I don't know how they would really profit off of the fall of this country. But I can 100% see the government going there, planting some seeds. Suddenly, a poisonous smog devastates the whole country to the point where they either need to send slaves or fight to the death. Like if they have to send 1,000 slaves for 1 month's tribute, that country would, whether they fight to the death or whether they send all their country to the Holy Land anyway, that country was finished. So who gets what from that? Clearly, it has to be more valuable than monthly payments, monthly tributes, you know? Because they could have benefited a lot from, monthly tributes for the rest of as long as it was possible. But something happened. The smog happened for 6 months. The country was devastated. They couldn't recover. That didn't happen by accident. Someone, the celestial dragons, somehow are going to benefit more from this country's fall than what they would have gotten, with infinite payments, tributes. Okay. I'll keep reading. Rohit says, I think it's Mars doing the smog. They wanted to impoverish the country and have a reason to attack them. Mars has Itsumade form, and that symbolizes arrival of plague with fog. What? What is Itsumade? Here is the origins. Itsumade make their first recorded appearance in the Taihei Ki, a fictional story, a fictional history of Japan written in the 14th century. According to the Taihei, can I not say this? According to the Taihei Ki, a terrible plague spreads during the fall of 1334. The suffering of the plague victims is what summoned the Itsumade. Or was it the Itsumade that brought the, like cause and effect, which came first? Or just in this story. His form was actually named Itsumade. It's not just like, oh, that's this bird in mythology. It looks like the Itsumade. He was actually called Itsumade in the manga. Because if so, it's guaranteed. Poisonous smog, Itsumade. There you go. There's your answer. The government did this. They showed up. A few key things change, and then boom, smog, Itsumade. Right there. It's guaranteed. Like, there's no doubt. I think that was in the back of my mind, but I was too lazy to check, so thanks for that. I mean, do they actually need a reason? I think we know by now they don't really give a crap about anyone. They believe they're entitled to do whatever they want. Yeah, but they don't just go around killing whatever island they want that is paying them tributes. They still need a reason to profit from something more than... They can't be the rulers over nothing. So there's a reason they decided to detriment this country, to devastate it. It's possible that the smog came from them, but I doubt it was spread with the intention of fabricating an excuse to attack them. What he's trying to say is they've never needed a reason to wipe out the country. They just do it. But they've only really done it with like isolated countries. This was an affiliated country. I don't think they just do what they want willy-nilly. I think we haven't got the full picture of the situation. Esperia was an affiliate of the world government. They couldn't attack a registered country like that, unlike God Valley, Elbaf, or Wano that are independent. Because no one gets news from there. There's no internet. But if it's an affiliated country, there are more connections, more trade happening, more people that I just think it's easier to do stuff to an unregistered, unaffiliated country than it is to someone that's supposed to be under your protection. So you have to give like a good reason why this happened. It's very rare that an elder comes in person in a country. The only time we've seen this was Saturn in God Valley because of the Davy clan involvement. There has to be a big reason. I agree. I'm reaching at the moment, but if Oda wants to casually drop a reason that Imu or the elders would somehow catch on to. So Tiago screenshot this moment. Sometimes it's as if you can see into the future. Like, there might be something with her eyes. I want to be like mother. So maybe they have like a power. There are people in One Piece that have powers that are not linked to devil fruits. So maybe they heard about the power that Kandel has. Maybe they wanted Kandel to have a children with someone powerful. Maybe they had a plan. I wouldn't put it past them to want to I wouldn't put it past Emu to want to breed a controllable puppet that has the power to see into the future, you know? I don't know. What an odd timing. A world government ship with Celestial Dragon happened to be washed up on Esperia, and Candel at the same time happened to be ill. Then Candel immediately married and had a baby. Are we really sure that Shuri is the king's daughter? So the implication here is that she slept with the Celestial Dragon and had his kid as if it was the king's kid. And then later they came back to collect. But why? Why? Okay. I only have 5 minutes. Oh, goodness, wait. There's more? Who is she referring to? King Leuven or Emu? Oh. I train hard with the sword so that I might be as close to him as possible. I don't know. Any guess who this guy is? My bet is him being a holy knight, more specifically from the Man Mayer family, and he will adopt Shuri. That would explain why she is Man Mayer. Oh, and the hat he's wearing is similar. Maybe this is her real dad. Maybe this is who Candel slept with. Dun dun dun. But I still don't understand why. Why go about things in that way? They wanted the country to fall, so but they couldn't do it just willy-nilly to an affiliated country. So go there, promise her whatever, make her like a double agent. I don't know, get married the king. Maybe she always was a double agent. He's so confusing. But this guy, he literally looks like, remember from the Nolan backstory? He looks like one of those monkey men. Even his like hands look hairy and long fingers. It looks like a monkey man to me. But then in the other screenshot, he doesn't look like it anymore. Here he looks like that Suire guy. Sui. Maybe because of the blue hair? You're right, because he's obsessed with Vivi and Lily and the blue hair. What's going on? And this is just so 100. This to me personally says 100% the smog was the government. Okay. So there's definitely something weird with the whole celestial dragon ship that's there. She's bedridden for months. Everyone's low. The sun has set. Then, boom, he's the king. Like it feels like someone sold their soul or something, or they made a deal with the devil, literally. But why? It wasn't like he was obsessed with becoming king, or like how did they make that happen? And then Smog, and she died, but she doesn't happen on screen. Yeah. See you in about 20 minutes for question of the week. I would say max. So let me just quickly check one or two. I don't know theories, but like what am I looking at? Anyway, sorry. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that. I avoid news channels for that reason. One Piece 11856. Lady Kendall was actually bedridden for a few months after that, probably due to stress. You wouldn't believe how dark the kingdom felt back then. This post made me realize that, yes, they may be right. It fits the timeline perfectly. The only reason my mind refuses it is because the theme is dark and unpleasant. What I mean is, Candel may have been S8 by the celestial dragon. She may have even allowed it to save the kingdom. Her illness was trauma and then pregnancy. Then Reuven marries her to save her honor. Shuri is born, but she's not Reuven's daughter, and that's why Shuri is later taken. Oh, sorry, Espada. Reuven would have declared war on the world government and killed the Celestial. That man has no hesitation when it comes to defending his own. Plus, the Celestial wouldn't just SA a woman, they take slave brides. Candel would have been brought. Things may not have been clear. The celestial dragon may have requested Candel as a personal aid during his stay. Reuven may have only understood what happened after the fact, and the celestial, maybe she didn't even tell him the truth because remember, she kept saying to him, "Remember your place as royalty." So she could have lied to him about what happened to her so that he doesn't, take things too far. Yes, we are checking Twitter. Magnolia was specifically seduced and tricked by Garling, and it wouldn't match Reuven's character to do nothing or accept this. Unless she lied to him because she was scared of what he would do and what that would mean for the country. So I can see that. She didn't want him to throw his life away. She didn't want him to go to war with the government. I mean, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying Egghead and Albuff are pretty much complementary. Lots of recurring themes. I mean, even... Wait. That still makes you think, like, if this is true and they came back for her, then I'm worrying for Bonnie. That is likely. It's likely. If you think it's too dark for One Piece, consider Amazon Lily. In its entirety, the premise of an island forbidden to men and what happened to the Boa sisters and what had to happen to the founders of the island. Okay, then here is someone's theory about Saint Germain. One Piece Magazine, Volume 3, revealed several early design sketches for Judge. In one of these, it was shown that his original name was Saint Germain, and he had the epithet Count Karakuri, Karakuri Hakushaku. He is said to have So Saint Germain is said to have made far-fetched claims, such as being 500 years old, leading Voltaire to dub him the Wonder Man, and that he is a man who does not die and who knows everything. Who's Judge? Is that Sanji's father? So this is a tweet by Black Tyonte X Avi. This might be connected to the new Holy Knight being Vinsmoke Saint Germain, ancestor of Sanji. In real life, there was a person named Count Saint Germain that was known as an alchemist, and he claimed to be immortal and live for 500 years. Also, he was said to be in the arts, adventurer, and musician. We in the flashback dealing with Music Island. Well, that's interesting because, since there is also a theory about the island being, but it's not. That theory sounds, because that's North blue and this is West blue. Count Saint Germain was one with many names before settling on the name Germain. One of the names was Marx, and we got this Holy Knight, that is Marcus. It's with Marcus Mars with a similar name. Nah, I don't know. That sounds crazy. I don't see it. Okay, here's another one. The guy being a Vinsmoke is a huge stretch. Why would they allow a Vinsmoke? Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't. I started reading it because of the theory, but then I remembered I don't even think that theory holds any water, so I'm moving on from it. I swear Oda never stops amazing me. This is from Geeks Ganbare. I found one of his brilliant parallels. In chapter 1085, we saw the silhouette of the Gorosei for the first time, a ton of revelations, and the thunderous king, the thunderous death of King Cobra. Today, in chapter 1185, we witness a sinister silhouette of a Gorosei, whom I attribute to be Mars and the tragic death of King Leuven. Plus, in 1085, we see Vivi tied up and Khalifa telling her she's sorry for her, but that once she's reported as missing, she'll end up as someone's pet. Today we know that Shuri's fate was marked in a similar way, since she's practically a weapon that Imu handles at his whim. Eh. So, it's a 1085 and a 1185 parallel about the silhouettes of the Gorosei for the first time, the death of King Cobra, and now the death of King Reuven. Plus, in that chapter, we see Vivi tied up, Khalifa telling her she's sorry, but once she's reported as missing, she'll end up as someone's pet. Mm. Let me just see something. Shuri went through the same thing as Shanks. She's the lost daughter of House Man Mayor, not just any ordinary princess, and even more so because not everyone can access Imu, let alone be their personal assistant. Okay, wait, lost one. Ooh, One Piece 1185. This is a tweet by Orewa Lokida. Shiryu is the dude who appears in the Brook flashback. It doesn't make any sense, just so we are on the same page. He's 44, but here's my theory. To save this theory, I'm gonna say he is Shiryu's dad. And he was the one who the world government sends to take out potential threats, and he was the one who was at Impel Down before Shiryu. Wait, what? We know the Navy and world government kind of works against each other sometimes. Like how the world government sends assassins to kill Doflamingo, but Mazalan is protecting him. So the world government always had an insider man for this job, which was Shiryu, and before him, his dad. Their designs kind of look like the Holy Knights. And Shiryu was the one who suggested that the world government might be hiding the Lost Road poneglyph. We know the burn scar dude has it, and Shiryu said he could be working for the world government. That's why he said that maybe he used to work for them as well. I hope this makes some sense. Vaguely. I just think that that guy looks too much like Shiryu to be ignored, but that's just something my brain does. He's not wearing a Navy uniform. But if it's like Shiryu's dad or ancestor or something, why would he need to wear a Navy uniform? This person says he also resembles Mont Blanc, so it couldn't have been Shiryu. He hadn't been born yet. But that's why it could be his father or his father's father or... And then this guy says, dude, that's Kong. Okay, I guess we won't know, and it's too little to go off of. Eh? What is, when is this, wait, let me show you. Okay. Thus, thus, thus. Vinsmoke is Sanji's family name. It's a name that makes my backbone crawl, but it can't be. During his fight with Big Mom, Judge explained how the Jerma kingdom fell 300 years ago and how he was trying to reclaim its glory. If this holy knight is indeed a Vinsmoke, could it be possible he had a hand in what happened to the fall of Jerma? I just remember when I saw the man sitting, I was confused why I couldn't see his head. I just needed to look down around the collar, not above the collar. Okay, last one for real. Now we know that Brook was the royal guard escort of Esperia Kingdom. It seems highly likely we will see Brook attending the reverie. The craziest part is that this same reverie, 56 years ago, was the one that Chebek raided. And on top of that, 56 years ago is when Garp joined the Navy. We might really get interactions between Brook, Garp, Chebek, and Harold. No, but we've already seen that flashback. Would they go back to the same flashback? I feel like we've already seen, okay, maybe a different part of the flashback, but I don't feel like we'll see. I mean, maybe. You never know, but we were told stuff. We learned before that Brooke was the captain of the royal escort. This would mean that he played the same kind of role as the royal guards we saw. Like here, in a past at the reverie. Maybe from Gunko's point of view. But she wouldn't have been there. Maybe from Brooke's point of view. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. People are like interpreting scarves and the admiral who was defeated by rocks and died before Akainu's eyes. Akainu's father. So that's another theory. That's not right. Oda put it there for a reason, which is to bring Gorosei, because Gorosei can't be in their house leaning back. Then he says, by God, I want to go to the store, and he goes to the store. No, it has to be a pentagram. What the hell are they talking about? I think I should stop. We're not gonna know. There's not enough information. No. It's just a new holy night. People are wilding. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these people grasping at straws had something right. But I'm just saying, for me, it just feels like there's not enough to go off of. I'm, like I've said 1,000 times, this is my first time going through the story. I watched the anime, and then I start reading the manga. Well, I read some of the manga before, but, you know, where, I started from the beginning, like, I don't remember when. Like here. No. I don't know. Oh no, this was before my manga channel. Jan! Stopping by just to say happy One Piece Day or sad One Piece Day. Oh, my manga channel. Thank you so much. My manga channel started with Attack on Titan. I did read a little bit of One Piece, but I still posted those videos to the main channel. But I don't remember where I was at in the anime, where I started reading the manga from the beginning. But I only read it up to like Eni's lobby or something, right? Where are the reactions for previous chapters? On the main channel. But remember, my main channel got hacked, and all my videos got set to private. So let's see, manga. Here are some. Ooh. How many are there? Okay, here, manga chapter 1 to 4, 5 to 10. So this is from November 2019. So I'm not sure where I was at in the anime at this point. But yeah, I should probably post these again. So I've done 1 to... Actually, there should be playlists. Okay, let's just check for curiosity. I did 1 to 4 up to 26. Then from 127 up to 285, and that's where I did that remember that this is one of my most liked tweets where I tried to recreate his face. Then I read 290 up to 398, and this is around the time where I stopped because like I didn't have any more time. I don't remember what happened. So then we have up to 430, and that's where I stopped. Holy shit, I read 430 chapters of One Piece? That doesn't sound right. I read 400 chapters of One Piece? That is insane. They're all unlisted for now. There might be a playlist. I think at some point I shared the playlists. Romance Dawn to Eni's Lobby. What chapter was Eni's Lobby? Yeah, it's all in here. So this is the playlist, but if I give you the link, I think you should be able to read it. I do remember. Yeah. You should be able to watch them. I mean, if you wanted to jump to a specific chapter or something. I'm not saying you want to watch them, but that's crazy. I did not remember that's how far I got. I remember I literally just said, before looking it up, I said Eni's Lobby. I did not know Eni's Lobby was 400 chapters in. So then I stopped at 430, and the next time I read it was, I don't know, when I wanted to start catching up, so around Wano or Egghead or something. Damn. Oh, here. It's on here. Wait, what's this? One Piece. Okay, this was an unlisted. That is a One Piece reading. So yeah, I have 2 playlists. The first one is that one from chapter 1 to 430, and then I started reading past the anime, and the first video was recorded on December 1st, 2024. Really? I saw a reaction to Manga Punk Hazard. Maybe I read the chapter. Maybe I did a chapter comparison. I don't remember reading. I remember reading up to Eni's Lobby. I just didn't know Eni's Lobby was 400 chapters in. Okay, but I'm so shocked that I did that, that I had time for that. 400 chapters. Wow. Why can't I do that now? Why can't I read Hunter x Hunter and one chapter a week? Like, how difficult is that? um, but anyway. So technically, I didn't just experience One Piece once. I experienced One Piece 1.5 times. Once in the anime through, and then once in the manga a little bit, and now the rest. So it's like 1.5 in total. But it's just the first 400 chapters. So this is new. Like, Battle Heat, it would be a chapter comparison. Yeah, I probably did chapter comparison. So thank you. Looking forward to people's theories, but yeah, for me, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. There's just too many little details and it adds more questions than it answers. So it's fun to read the theories, but it's just too early to know. Although I believe in some of those crazy theory crafters out there that can link like little details, because Oda plants those details. He does. But someone like me, you know, who's only been here with One Piece for about 7 years, like there are people who've been reading it for 20 years or even at least 10 years, but they've been watching, reading, rereading, making notes. And I am ashamed to say I didn't keep up my notes. So those people can make theories, but I'm too overwhelmed. Bye. Have a good week.